One of the most interesting teams in the NBA to talk about right now are the New Orleans Pelicans, formerly known as the Hornets. Changed it because that's their state bird. So they're called the Pelicans, and we can all agree that they have one of the brightest futures in the NBA. Let's just talk about some of the young players they have. Brandon Ingram, Zion, Lonzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jackson Hayes, Josh Hart. They got a lot of good players. A lot of good young players that can blossom into something special. Now that we're talking about the Pelicans, they're only 2 games back from the 8th seed. The 8th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. They get Zion back January 22nd. With Zion, it's very possible they can make a playoff run because Zion was dominating in the preseason. Say what you want about the preseason, you know a good player when you see a good player. Brandon Ingram is playing out of his mind. What is your faith in the Pelicans' future?
Well, let me start off by saying this season, you got them at 12 seed, you got Phoenix in front of them, you got Portland in front of them, you got the Grizzlies at 8. So it's going to be a pretty tough way to get in. It's a tight race for AFC right now. Memphis, another team who's playing out of its mind, and they weren't projected to be this good, but they're Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, they're playing good. The Pelicans have, if they believe in Brandon Ingram, they have found their go-to scorer. Alonzo Ball has been playing pretty good the past 10 games. The pieces are starting to fit. Jackson Hayes is starting to get his groove going in. Rim protecting has been pretty well. You got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he still has to find his way. Zion's coming back. So they're definitely starting to get everything to click for them. They have a pretty good coach in Gentry. I want to say I believe in their future, but I have to wait and see on how they progress next year because Zion has missed a lot of games. Lonzo is very inconsistent. Brandon Ingram is putting up great stats, but they kind of they aren't that good. So I want to see them all together. I want to see how they do together. I want to see how Zion gets back, what he does, how healthy he looks, how his knee looks because he was out of shape. So I'm definitely I would say I'm 65-70% invested in the Pelicans' future. You know,
an interesting story about Nickeil Alexander-Walker, one of the Pelicans rookies. I was watching the JJ Redick podcast, and he was talking about how Nickeil Alexander shadows JJ in everything he does. So JJ, he goes to work out, Walker is there. He's asking if he can accompany him. JJ Redick thinks that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to be a stud.
You know who's his cousin, right?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Dog.
And, maybe it runs in the family, and Shai and Nickeil turns out to be a tremendous player. I believe that he has all the tools to be, but one of the players that we want to talk about, and JC's going to further elaborate on this player, is Alonzo Ball. First 2 seasons in his career, he was known as a bust. People were quick to label him, call him names. To be fair, he's not shooting the greatest from the field right now.
He's just not good offensively.
He's not shooting the greatest, but JC, dive into how Alonzo Ball is playing so far.
Alonzo Ball, these past 10 games, has been playing really well. He's averaging, in the 10 games, he's averaging 10.5 assists. He's scoring better. Seems like he found his touch, but I mean, like we all need more of a sample size. We need him to do this longer. He's an elite defender, can run the offense really well. These past 10 games, he's been really playing well against some really good teams. You got the Pacers put up 16, 4 and 4. You got Houston 27, 10 and 10 triple double. Against the Lakers 23, 2 and 5. Boston had a triple double. He's been in the Utah slight triple double, 21, 9 and 9, missed it, but he's been playing really well. Looks like he's found his jump shot. If Lonzo Ball can consistently shoot the 3 ball, it's lights out because he has everything else in his game. He just has everything that you want in a point guard. He just needs to score. Great facilitator, great defender, and he gets a lot of rebounds too. So Lonzo Ball these past 10 games has been playing really well. I would like to see him continue this streak.
Alonzo Ball has been one of the headliners, mostly because he's one of the most famous NBA players right now due to all the drama coming into the league with his father, stuff like that. But he's definitely not the best player on this Pelicans team. The best player is Brandon Ingram, we all know. he didn't show those flashes in LA. Maybe some here and there, but for the most part, in New Orleans, he's getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the game the other day. He scored 49 points. He had what I thought was a game winner until the refs called the foul on the Gobert tipping, and he shot a free throw to tie the game and go into overtime. Brandon Ingram is playing out of his mind.
That brings me back to my point from earlier. If Royce O'Neal is your best defender, you are not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, no, he can't. He just can't.
So what do you think Brandon Ingram's ceiling as a player is?
Ceiling. Well, for those who watched Brandon Ingram, and I was on Twitter the other day, and I was looking at the comments about, because, he had the 49-point explosion. So I was looking at some comments from people, and people were like, LeBron was holding him back. But if you watched the Lakers play last year, you can easily see it wasn't LeBron's fault for why Brandon Ingram is what he is. Now, Brandon Ingram is in New Orleans. He gets New Orleans, new environment. They give him the keys. They say, yo, it's your team, go ahead. And he's performed. Now, 25 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 46, 41, 86 splits. So he's balling. His ceiling, if I'm going to judge it off these 40 games they played, about 40 games, his ceiling obviously will have to be off the 40 games, all-star, superstar 1 level, like tier 1 superstar. I'm sorry, tier 2 superstar, all-star. If that would be his ceilings for these 40 games. But you have to, like I said before, I would have to see all of them put together. Because Zion has superstar ceiling. And Lonzo, even though people label him a bust, there is some people who have him labeled as all-star ceiling. So there is guys on this team, Nicola Alexander-Walker too, that can perform. So I'll just have to wait and see.
I think, to be fair to Brandon Ingram, his first 2 years in LA, we can call it how it is. He didn't play very well. He was improving. He came into the league as 19. Yeah, the first 2 years in the NBA, in the Lakers, he didn't play too well. When LeBron came his third year, he started out rough, but he was the best Laker down the stretch, without a doubt.
Yep.
He played phenomenal
and
until he got
LeBron
the blood
hurt.
clots. Yep. Brandon Ingram can ball. And what gets forgotten in a lot of this is that Jrue Holiday isn't playing right now, which can be a good thing because now you give Alonzo Ball more ball handling responsibilities.
Yeah, I think everybody's forgetting about Derrick Favors too. I think he's a perfect veteran for this team. In Brandon Ingram's 49-point game, he was really giving a lot of credit to Derrick Favors making the right pass. And Derrick Favors is a solid big man, solid player, solid mentor to these players. So I think he's a player on New Orleans that gets slept on.
So
we talking. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
Question real quick. So talking about the Pelicans' future, we're talking about Jrue Holiday, obviously. So with these young guys blossoming, obviously Jrue Holiday is probably gonna have to go. Where do you see would be a good fit for Jrue Holiday if he gets traded?
Milwaukee.
Perfect fit.
Milwaukee is probably one of the only ones that I have that it's like I look at Milwaukee and it's a perfect fit right there. There are a few teams, but I don't know if the cap would work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably maybe Philly.
Yeah,
How about Dallas?
Without the cap?
Dallas, maybe. I don't know how he'd work as a spot-up shooter next to Doncic. I can see Phoenix.
Yeah.
I can see Phoenix. I can see Minnesota.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday's still a good player, man. He's still a
solid player.
Yeah.
And, this upcoming month, Zion coming back against the Spurs, January 22nd. Let's make some bold predictions. Do you think he's going to average 50 a game? What do you think?
You said 50 a game. I'm going to throw out a stat line. I'll give him first game back. I'll give him 12, 8, 4 assists, definitely a block, probably 2 blocks, probably a steal, like 65%.
So what do you think he averages
for the rest of the season?
Considering he's healthy?
15 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a block a game, a steal a game.
I agree with that. Yeah, I would say around that 15 points, 9 boards, 4 assists. As far as his shooting percentages go, I expect his 3-point shot to not be that well. His free throws are maybe around 70 to 75%. And his field goal, I got him, since it's his first game back, 40 games under him, maybe 47, 48% from the field because he takes a lot of shots inside the paint. So solid rookie campaign.
I give him an EFG of probably 60%.
Yeah.
I think Zion has scored 18 to 21 a game, and I think the Pelicans make the playoffs.
Ooh.
That's not a bad prediction.
Not
they
at
could
all.
make the playoffs. I would have Portland making the playoffs.
Yep, they definitely have to go on a run.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely have to go on a
It's tight in the
run.
West though for that 8th spot, man.
This is our side of things. We all believe that the Pelicans have a very bright future down the line. We want you guys to pick a side. Do you believe the Pelicans will have a bright future? If you don't, why not? If you do, tell us why. Comment down below in the comment section, and thank you guys for watching.